It is Friday, May 8th, 2020, and I am Patrick Tuttle, the real estate guy with Legacy Real Estate Services. And today I am bringing you the answer to the question, how's the real estate market with respect to COVID-19 and El Paso? And I'll be right back with the answer. Okay, welcome back. So the big question that we've been going through lately is how's the market? It's specifically, how's the market with respect to COVID-19 and what has COVID-19 done to our residential real estate sales here in El Paso? And like I told you a minute ago, I'm here with the answer to that. So let's go through our data. This data comes from the Greater El Paso Association of Realtors Multiple Listing Service. And I'm going to go through the resale data first, and then I'm going to go to the new homes data. And then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the market and how COVID-19 has affected sales or not, if it hasn't affected sales. So how are we looking? Well, first off, inventory. We always start off with this. So we've got 1,125 resale homes. These are single-family detached homes on the market here in El Paso, and that, by the way, is down from last month. We had 1,288 at the beginning of April, so we're down a little bit than where we were previously. They have an average list price of $249,488. Now remember, this is average. There's some higher priced homes out there that are bringing that average up, and when you look at the sales prices in just a minute, you're going to see that there's a big disparity between the average list price and what the average sale price is. Average time on market, 77 days. Last month we were at 73 days on market for resale homes. So right now we're seeing that we've had just a slight increase, and that's just not a whole lot. Number of homes that closed in the last 30 days, 453. Now compare that to the 487 that we had during the month of March. This is down, but really it's not a huge amount. We typically see that there's going to be a decrease in sales the week of Easter, and we saw that this year, but we still had 453 sales closed through the Greater El Paso Association of Realtors Multiple Listing Service. Average price on the closing, $182,624, and that, my friends, is up by about $5,000 over last month. So we're seeing a little bit of an increase in the price. And what did that get you? Well, it gave you an average sale price of $94.55 per square foot and an average size of a home at 1,876 square feet. So your average selling price, $182,624, and $94.55 a square foot, 1,876. That is down on the size just slightly from last month. We were at 1,907, and the average sale price was at $92.28 a square foot, which was $177,257. Number of homes that sold back in the month of March, we already talked about that. 487 of them was there, and their average selling price was $177,257. Over the past 12 months, ending April 30th, we saw 6,176 homes close through our multiple listing service. Realize that both of those have all of those have two transaction sides. We've got a seller, we've got a buyer. So the total number of sales, 12,352 is what that looks like. And then the average price for the year closed out April 30th is $176,161. So the month of March, we did have a pretty good increase on the sales price. So we're looking at being down on the 12-month inventory number, but up on the sales price. The 12-month inventory number ending at March 31st was 6,265, and we had 6,176 that had closed out for the 12 months ending on March 30th. April 30th. So what's that do to our inventory on market? Well, it gives us, using an average of 515 resale homes selling per month, that gives us a 2.18 months of inventory. And I got to tell you that this is the lowest number I've ever seen. Well, no, not the lowest number I've ever seen. We saw real low numbers back in June and July of 2006. Yes, that's how long I've been around doing this stuff and how long I've been tracking these numbers. But 2.18 months of inventory is an incredibly low number, and that's being driven by the fact that we haven't had as many listings come on the market recently, because a lot of the potential sellers that would be outbound, many of those are military, and they're under a stop movement order right now. They've been told to stay in place through June 30th, and we may see a flood of inventory come on the market in mid-June, early July. But right now we're seeing that it's putting an already tight market into a more tight market because the inventory numbers are down. 2.18 months of inventory. What that means is that if nobody put their house on the market today, we'd sell out of the homes in 2.18 months. Now, just let that sink in real quick. That means that here we are on May 8th, that by the time we get into July, probably about July 15th, we would be sold out of all the homes. Now, is that going to happen? No, it's not, but it makes for a good visual to let you know that we're really in a low inventory market. And many people have decided, my clients included, many people have decided to push the sale price numbers up because of the lack of inventory. So we've got what's called a shortage in inventory. And if you remember your economics, this is basic economics. When we got demand that's here and supply that's here, we're going to have an increase in sale prices. The challenge that we're seeing in today's market is that the appraisals, because about 95% of our homes are going to be sold on a mortgage, the appraisals are coming in because they're using lag data. The appraisals are coming in short from where the buyer agrees to pay for it and the seller agrees to sell it. But the appraisers are coming in using the data that they have available and saying, I understand that there's a shortage, but I can't justify that price, and so therefore my appraisal's coming in short. We're seeing that here in El Paso, and that's the first time in 14 years we've really seen that issue here in El Paso. Other major markets in Texas, we've seen that for years, but the tide has turned, and we're going to see whether or not this continues with this COVID-19 issue. So right now, resale market, it appears as though the COVID-19 has kept sellers out of the market, but the buyers are continuing to be out there looking, and we're having an additional shortage of inventory for resale homes on the market. Now, let's look at what's happening with the new homes market. Is the same thing happening? Well, let's take a look and see. So inventory, 1,312 homes on the market right now. That's up slightly over last month. We had 1,277 that were available. Average list price, $211,468, and last month we were at $209,890. Average time on market, 130 days. So remember, divide that in half because we don't know where all of those properties are. I put 9 properties on the market with one of my builders this week, and that builder, Classic Heritage Homes, they're just now getting the permits to build those. So 130 days on market, that's the average time that we're looking at. Cut it in half, call it 65 days on market is from the time they get finished to selling a home. Number of homes closed in the last 30 days. Through April 30th, there were 167 new homes that closed through our Greater El Paso Association of Realtors, and they had an average selling price of $205,219. Okay, so what did you get for that? Well, you got a home at 113.34 square foot with an average size of 1,826 square feet. So we're seeing almost parity on our new home size compared to our resale home size, but the price per square foot, the new homes are still getting, and in this month we're seeing about $19 a square foot difference. That gap has been closing. We were at $25 difference not only a year ago, but today we're seeing a $19 difference in square foot between the new homes and the resale. And I believe that that's compounded by the fact that we have the shortage of homes in the resale market, especially with this COVID-19. All right, so back in the month of March, remind you that we sold 186 homes, Greater El Paso Association of Realtors MLS, and they had an average selling price of $225,757. So when we look at the sales for the month of April compared to the month of March, there's a huge difference between there. $16,000 is the difference, is what we're looking at there. And over the last 12 months, 2,408 homes sold, so roughly 200 per month, and those sold at $212,606 on average for the last 12. So we're looking at overall, we saw a down on price and a down on volume for the month ended April 30th, 2020. So what's that do for our inventory? Well, selling on average 201 homes per month, that gives us a 6.53 months of inventory, which again, just like I did on the average days on market, cut this number in half, and that gives us essentially a 3.27, 3.28 month of inventory. So about 3 months worth of inventory is what's available right now in the new home market. I truthfully submit to you it's less than that because of the fact that I've had some buyers out in the marketplace. Some of my agents have had buyers out in the marketplace looking for new homes, and there really is a shortage of the new homes out there that are available today. I submit to you that we have more starts than we have available. So there's a lot of homes that are started out there, but they're not going to be finished for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and there's going to be I think there's going to be a lull here in the summertime with the number of homes that are closing in the marketplace here in El Paso. What about interest rates? Well, they're still doing some interesting things out there. Last week we saw conventional rates get up in the 5 mark, and FHA, I had one of our clients that my bride Raja is working with, she had a 2.95 FHA quote. I mean, when is the last time you ever saw that? Well, the explanation was that because of the potential of job losses, the conventional mortgages are pulling back, and they're saying, hey, we're going to demand more money, more interest on our conventional non-government backed loans because we can't find a buyer for those loans on the secondary market. And that's what made the government-backed loans, that being VA and FHA and USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, those 3 loan products became a preferred choice for the secondary market of mortgage-backed securities. And for that reason, the conventional rates eased up, or actually went up, and the FHA and VA rates were coming down, and we saw a huge difference on it. Now today, 3.53% is what we're seeing on a 30-year conventional mortgage. Your situation may vary on that because of your credit scores, your income, and who the loan officer is that you're working with. But 3.53 in the grand scheme of things, that's still very cheap money when you look at the fact that my first mortgage that I got in 1996, 7.25%, and now we're half of that, less than half of that, and that's been the going rate for quite some time. And if you recall back in the election year 2016, the prediction was that interest rates would rise because of the change of the administration. When President Trump was elected, the prediction was that rates were going to rise, but they didn't. They've stayed sub 5% for the most part in the years that he's been in office, for those 3.5 years that he's been there so far. So what's going on in the market? Well, COVID-19 does appear to be affecting our market in the sense that sellers are waiting to put their houses on the market, but the buyers are moving forward with their purchases, and that's creating, again, a little bit more of a shortage in inventory here in El Paso, and I believe that's raising prices just a little bit, but then the appraisals are going to bring them back down. So sellers, if you're out there on the market and you're hoping to get a higher price, don't be surprised if your appraisal values come in a little bit less, because you're getting a higher price due to the shortage of inventory on the market, and then the appraisers are coming in and saying, not so fast, these people have to borrow money, and because of that, the mortgage company is not going to loan as much as what the buyer has agreed to pay. Will we see the additional cash come to the closing table? That's going to be the thing that we're going to be looking at next. Is our market going to change like the Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, San Antonio markets, where the buyers are coming to the table and paying the differences between the appraised values and the agreed selling price? As we get in more and more shortage, that's the next thing to look for, and we'll see if that's going to happen because of all the job losses over Midland, Odessa, and in Carlsbad due to the oil prices coming down. That could affect us as well, because there are a lot of people that lived here in El Paso but drove over there for a job, and many of those people have been laid off now that the oil prices are so low that it's cheaper for the refineries to buy the oil somewhere else instead of pulling it out of the ground in far west Texas. If you've got questions about how this affects you, or you want to dispute my data or find out more about my data or how I can assist you in either buying a home in El Paso or southern New Mexico, how we can help you sell a home as well, we'd love to visit with you. You can reach me at 915-588-1850. That's my cell number. Call me, text me on that, and I'll respond as quickly as possible. Or you can shoot me an email, patrick@patricktuttle.com. For now, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a great part of El Paso. God bless you, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.